Hey there, Saki here from sakitech, and in today's video, I will do a full comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus versus the OnePlus 5. To put things in perspective, the S8 was released in April 2017, while the OnePlus 5 in June 2017. So there is not a big time gap between the two. And of course, people are prompted to ask some very natural questions such as, can the OnePlus 5 topple the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus? Or which one should I buy, the OnePlus 5 or the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus? Or what features does the S8 Plus have that are superior to the OnePlus 5? Simply put, which one is better? So in this video, we will do a deep dive and compare every aspect of these two smartphones, and towards the end, draw a crystal clear conclusion and pick a winner based on facts, not emotion. So let's dive in and start with the build and design. So the Galaxy S8 has a front screen built with Gorilla Glass 5 and rear glass panel also built with Gorilla Glass 5, which is all surrounded by a metal rim. The front display of the OnePlus 5 is Gorilla Glass 5 as well, and the remainder of the phone is unibody aluminum construction. So as far as build, although different in nature, we have high quality materials on both. They have a solid and premium in-hand sensation. As for design, I usually consider this to be a subjective element. However, there is always a difference between something that is exceptionally gorgeous versus something that is just pretty. And that's exactly what's going on here. The S8 is simply the better looking smartphone thanks to its dual curved edge design as well as the large and tall display that dominates the front. We observed that both phones have a headphone jack, the USB Type-C port, as well as a single mono speaker. As for water resistance, the Galaxy S8 has an IP68 grade water resistance which protects your phone from dust, dirt, sand, and water. The OnePlus 5 does not have any water resistance capabilities. S8 Plus also comes with AKG tuned earphones which are priced at $100 if you try to buy them standalone. The OnePlus 5 does not include earphones in the package. So in this department, the Galaxy S8 is the winner, especially due to its marvelous design language and IP68 grade water resistance. Now let's move on to the processor and memory. So in this category, both smartphones are using the same processor, which is an octa-core Snapdragon 835 processor clocked at up to 2.45 GHz. However, while the S8 has 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of base storage, the OnePlus 5 actually has either 6 GB of RAM with the 64 GB storage model or 8 GB of RAM with the 128 GB storage model. So certainly the OnePlus 5 pulls ahead of the S8 with more RAM. However, S8 has its own little advantage in that it offers micro SD expansion slot for storage expansion up to an additional 256 GB if required. Also, looking at these benchmark scores, we see that the performance is in the same neighborhood on each smartphone. Although, due to that extra RAM on the OnePlus 5, it has a slight lead. So in this category, it will be a draw. Next up, let's quickly take a look at the dimensions. OnePlus 5 measures 154.2 mm in height, 74.1 mm wide, and 7.25 mm thick. It weighs 153 grams. The Galaxy S8 Plus measures 159.5 mm in height, 73.4 mm wide, and 8.1 mm thick. It weighs 173 grams. Certainly the S8 Plus has a little more footprint, but not by a large margin. What is more important is how these smartphones utilize the total surface area, which brings me to the display size and display quality. Let's talk about that. The S8 Plus has a gorgeous 6.2-inch display with a Quad HD Plus resolution, which is 1440 by 2960 with a total PPI of 529. While the OnePlus 5 has a smaller 5.5-inch display with a 1080p resolution, giving it a PPI of 401. There's absolutely no question that the S8 Plus has the better screen, the sharper screen, and the more vibrant screen. OnePlus 5 by no means has a low quality display, but like many other smartphones on the market, it cannot compete with the quality of the S8's display. On top of that, the total screen to body ratio on the S8 Plus is 84%, which means you have minimum amount of bezels on the S8 Plus that adds to its design superiority as well. The OnePlus 5 has a 73% screen to body ratio, which means less screen and more bezels. Another thing that the S8 Plus has is HDR capabilities, which the OnePlus 5 lacks. So the win in this category directly goes to the S8 Plus. Let's move on to the software. Now both phones run the latest version of Android, although with their own layer of software modification. In the case of Samsung, it is called TouchWiz, and in the case of OnePlus, it is called Oxygen OS. By virtue of the fact that this is Android, both smartphones offer a rich and customizable interface. They're both full of rich and deep features, but there isn't time to go into the details. One highlight is that the Oxygen OS on the OnePlus 5 runs smoother with virtually no lag. As for the Galaxy S8, it runs smooth and silky 95% of the time, but there's that occasional stutter and lag. On the flip side, the Galaxy S8, because it has an edge curved screen, comes with the edge panels that adds a unique flavor of customization not available on other Android smartphones. You get access to a bunch of side panels which can be added or removed as required, such as a calculator, weather, tools, calendar, data manager, device manager, and much more. The bottom line is that both of these phones run on Android. I wouldn't worry too much about the software for making a decision between the two. Let's move on to the camera. Now the camera quality on the Galaxy S8's 12 megapixel f1.7 camera is slightly better than the OnePlus 5. However, OnePlus 5 has a more attractive overall package because it actually has two cameras on board instead of one. It has a primary standard angle 16 megapixel f1.7 camera and a secondary telephoto camera that is 20 megapixels with f2.6. The reason the secondary camera exists is that it allows you to optically zoom up to 2 times and also allows you to take gorgeous portrait shots with nice and creamy bokeh effect, which is the background blur. The bottom line is no matter which smartphone you pick, as long as you are an average consumer, which most people are, you will be satisfied. If you get all scientific about the photo quality, color accuracy, and sharpness, you will conclude that the S8 does a better job in all those categories, but only marginally. As for video, the Galaxy S8 offers better video stabilization at 4K resolution than the OnePlus 5, but for 1080p recording, they both do a great job so that you can shoot some really well stabilized video in 1080p. On the front, we have a 20 megapixel f2.0 camera on the OnePlus 5 and an 8 megapixel f1.7 camera on the Galaxy S8. There seems to be a big gap in the megapixel count, but in this case, both cameras do a great job taking selfies and video conferencing. So in this category, I'm going to have to give a very slight lead to the Galaxy S8, but I also want to reiterate that either camera would satisfy any average consumer. Now let's move on to biometrics and security. So the Galaxy S8 offers 3 ways to unlock it. You can use the fingerprint sensor found on the back, use the facial recognition tool, or use the iris scanner to unlock your device. The OnePlus 5 offers only one way, which is a fingerprint sensor. In this category, on paper, the S8 certainly is the winner because it packs more options and technology. But in my personal opinion, a fast-working frontal fingerprint sensor is probably the best biometrics security option. I prefer my fingerprint scanner right on the front of the phone so that I may quickly log into my phone even if it is sitting flat on the table. It seems more natural. On the S8, the fingerprint sensor that really matters to me is awkwardly placed on the rear next to the camera. Of course, it is still usable, but it is not as practical as a frontal fingerprint sensor. As this category is not too critical in deciding which one to buy, I'm not going to pick a winner, but call it a draw. Let's talk about the battery. So both phones have a long-lasting batteries that easily get you a full day of medium to heavy use, which is fantastic. As for fast charging capabilities, OnePlus 5 wins. It has the dash charging feature, which is able to charge it up to 29% from 0% within 15 minutes, while the S8's adaptive fast charging only charges up to 20% within 15 minutes. On top of that, at the 30-minute mark of charging, the OnePlus 5 is already at 58% battery life, while the S8 is around 50% battery life. So although both smartphones have similar full-day battery life, the fast charging on the OnePlus 5 is faster, yet on the flip side, the S8 does have wireless charging capabilities that the OnePlus 5 does not have. So in this category, it's going to be a draw. First and foremost, let's list all the advantages we have of the S8 over the OnePlus 5. It has a better design language with curved edges and a large and tall display that dominates the front of the screen. It has IP68 water resistance, a must-have for any flagship. It has a better, sharper, and a larger display despite having similar dimensions. It has additional technologies such as wireless charging, an iris scanner, and a facial recognition tool, which is less important but is still there. So in those four categories, the S8 leads over the OnePlus 5, and in every other category they are almost equal, such as the battery life, processing power, software capabilities, and camera. OnePlus 5 does have marginal leads here and there, such as better fingerprint sensor placement and faster fast charging. The ultimate winner without a question is the Galaxy S8 Plus, despite its slightly higher pricing. It is packed with the latest technology. As a matter of fact, it is a technological marvel. And as of the making of this video, the S8 Plus is selling for approximately $750, while the OnePlus 5's 128GB version is $540. The difference in pricing between the two is around $200. So if that is a big savings, OnePlus 5 should be considered. But also keep in mind that $540 is not a bargain at all. For a little bit more, you can acquire the best smartphone on the planet. That's basically all I have to say. The S8 Plus is certainly the winner and will give more satisfaction to the end user over the OnePlus 5 if you can afford it. And that brings us to the end of this video. Make sure to subscribe to sakitech and give this video a thumbs up. And do not forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at sakitech online. Guys, have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video.